Level, it's not just Nigeria, which is affected by global phenomenon recently. When and reflecting both the conjunctions of two factors, the volume and price effect. And that free trade agreement, which entered into force this year, provides the opportunity to increase and shift the composition of FDI and investment to accelerate the diversification of sources of growth and African trade. In this regard, and on behalf of President Rama, we welcome the choice of the topic on the opinion of contribution, boosting intra-African trade and investment, the role of the AFCFTA. I think we shall proceed in three steps. First, discuss why is boosting African trade investment important? How do we achieve that and the role of the AFCFTA? And finally, overview and support by Afrexim Bank to enhance implementation of the AFCFTA, but also attract more investment into its member country at the federal and sub-national level, including therefore Kaduna. And why is boosting intra-African trade and investment important? I think it's fair to say that excessive dependency on primary commodities has been highly costly to the continent in terms of volatility. And at the same time, the extroverted nature of African trade, whereby more than 85% of African trade is extra African trade, has actually been a major source of global volatility. And compare that to 72% in Europe of intra-African trade and 52% in Asia versus just 15% in Africa. You can see why we are so heavily exposed. And that exposure is such that when there are global shifts, we tend to have more volatility on extra-regional trade and intra-regional trade. For much uncomfortable. result in that one between Nigeria. Growth within the tax base and set countries on the path of long-run fiscal and debt sustainability, as the example of Asia clearly shows. Sustainably growing African trade, investment, and sub-national government level will actually stepwise export-led growth. Rise originally, then effective integration chains, no raw material, but increase the manufacture. No longer the victim of adverse commodity shocks affecting them through the Federal Account Allocation Committee. And what role would the AFCFT play in this regard? I think I will zoom through this section, and move toward how African banks actually supporting the process. For emerging and developing market economies, confronting so many constraints and to expand trade, not least the supply side constraints. Few of those constraints trade finance, which African Bank is championing, has been championing, and facilitations as well as infrastructure investment are key to really magnify the returns on investment from the AFCFT. More than rationalizing existing rates, and the AFCFT has been touted as a game changer. It has the potential to increase and shift the composition of FDI and to accelerate transformation of African economies and raise both expense African trade. I think we've seen very interesting results from the CGE model, which is showing that benefit in terms of expense African trade. At the same time, it's very important for real wages will actually increase across the board for both skilled and unskilled labor, essentially in actually a shift toward a more inclusive growth model supported by that regional integration process. The rules of origins is very important for investors today. The rules of origins will actually provide benefits in terms of fiscal incentive to all investors in the regions. And we call the Industrialization Accelerator, and will play a role attracting a different investment, invest the supply side, invested like to become manufacturing hub for the whole continent. And that's the great of Kaduna, the investment of, and the soft financial final innovative idea and projects in the continent. So a vehicle to leverage more resources globally in support of industrialization. Also, a very important platform, supplier in the it's been so much encourage the participants to attend the trade fair. Also important is the next one, and the banks are trade, and they tend to move good. Kaduna can become, then we provide resources to actually move and beyond. Last year, we actually supported more than 49,000 SMEs through $1.6 billion investment across the continent. In particular, the bank is investing in the development of industrial park and special economic zone, which are key incentives to catalyze investment and boost productions in the context of infrastructure constraints. And IP and special economic zone play a key role in Asia and will be major catalyst in transforming African economy. Already, we're pleased to hear that, know that it's been shown that stopping electricity outage are much less frequent in company operating in Kenyan special economic zone than for those operating elsewhere in the country. And to close, Chairman, in the closing statement, I think it's fair to say that boosting African trade will not only deepen integration, will also drive investment to accelerate process industrialization in a mutually reinforcing relationship between integration, effort, and industrialization. And winner during the implementation of the AFCFTA, significantly raising share of intra-African trade, direct benefit for subnational government, including the great state of Kaduna. Simulations show that country and state with more diversified source of growth, which has been done under Kaduna, will actually thrive under the AFCFTA. Member country and subnational government should invest to improve infrastructure, both physical and economic infrastructure. Of growth opportunities at national and subnational level to ensure that the economic transformation. And you can always
works from the position of the rule of origin, providing benefits, catalysts, but most importantly, the power of progressive intra-African trade. Another round of applause, please. Let's appreciate Afrexim and all of the initiatives taking us through. Like he mentioned, from the Lagos Action Plan to the Abuja team, now it's Kadivest 6.0, and that which shall be articulated from this particular platform, that which shall be expressed, given voice to, and dynamically reset the choices will create, not just for Kaduna, but indeed for the after representation, a supermodel for knowledge economy throughout Africa. A little earlier on the Sunrise program, the governor, Kaduna State, and I want to quote him, had said, and he was referring in particular to the Java Ranch project, and he said, you know what it is, if it works, fine, and if it doesn't work, we are just innovative, not just reformist, and it re-proposes the whole project for Kaduna and for Nigeria and Africa. Right now, we're going to be taking 3 critical goodwill statements, and they're going to be coming from, first of all, the Emir of Zaria, His Excellency Ambassador Ahmed Nuhu Mamali. Secondly, Galadima Kazauri, the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Alhaji, shall come from the President of Skipper Group, Jitender Sakdeva. These are 5 minutes, quick interventions, but critical goodwill messages by these iconic first frontline representations. Let me first invite now His Royal Highness, the Emir of Zaria, Ambassador Ahmed Nuhu Bamali. Thank you. Emir of Zaza, thank you.
Bismillah, Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, and also the chair of Kadivest 6.0. The vice chairman of the Kadivest, His Highness Muhammad Sunusi II and the 14th Emir of Kano, the Galadima Kazaure, and Minister of Water Resources, my Lord, spiritual and temporal, the City of Kaduna State, other investors, entrepreneurs, members of the diplomatic corps, the press, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to Kaduna, the land of opportunity, a land of investment. I'm sure you will all agree with me that investing in Kaduna State is the greatest thing that will happen to anybody in this century. It's a state that has proven itself over this period. And you can see the astronomical growth of the state in the last few years. So you're all welcome to Kaduna State, and I wish you a successful stay in Kaduna, and congratulations to Kadipa and the government and people of Kaduna State. So assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much.
Once again, another round of applause. His Excellency and Royal Highness Ambassador Ahmed. And now I'm inviting for the next goodwill, Galadima Kazare, Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Alhaji Suleiman Adamu. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, Your Excellencies, Your Highnesses, members of the State and National Assembly, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to have been invited to this 2021 edition of the Kaduna Economic and Investment Summit. Indeed, I've always received a special invitation from His Excellency, my big brother, Governor Nasser Rufai, every year. But unfortunately, the event has, for some strange coincidence, always clashed with other engagements, especially the UN General Assembly. And gladly, the opportunity has availed itself for me to attend the summit in person this time around. From the tremendous progress that the Rufai administration has made since its inception, which I, as a bona fide Kaduna resident, can attest to, this series of summits has added so much value to Kaduna State, particularly the provision of social and economic infrastructure, as well as urban renewal and inflow of considerable investment in agriculture, mining, commerce, and industry. I warmly welcome the government. I warmly congratulate the government and people of Kaduna State on the under the able leadership of Governor Rufai in the last 6 years. The Federal Ministry of Water Resources has been and will continue to be a willing partner in support of the efforts being made by the state to improve the economic well-being of the people. In particular, I wish to mention some of the areas of cooperation and collaboration that are on stream between my ministry and Kaduna State. One, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources has successfully concessioned the 30 megawatt Gurara hydropower station last year in 2020. We are still awaiting completion of the Mando Kudenda transmission line by Transmission Company of Nigeria, following which the plant will commence full operation, providing additional power to the Kudenda industrial area of Kaduna. Secondly, a master plan is being put together to develop the tourism potential of Gurara Dam, the objective being to create a full-fledged tourist resort of international standards, with a view to promoting domestic tourism and a huge tourism economy around the area. This is intended to be almost wholly private sector driven. Three, the development of Etisi Dam is now on course. Engineering designs, and about 6 major companies. This conference about investment, and I think social investment is also part of it. And I think Federal Ministry of Water and Kaduna State government are implementing our administration's flagship rural water program, which expanded water supply that will provide 100% access to water selected local government areas within the state. This is towards attaining the sustainable development. This program is also on course in 48 areas to be implemented in 5, so beginning to gain traction in that one LGA Java local government having recently been fully certified as open defecation, communities following suit. State on this epoch event and to place the continued support of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources in your development efforts. I wish you a very successful summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, another round of applause. Let's appreciate Galadima Kasari for that with the Honorable Minister of Water Resources has said here today, Alhaji Suleiman Adamu. Yes, the Clean Nigeria campaign is real, it is war, and we can win. Everyone working with a win-win formula will produce the expression of those, not just deliverables, but impact and results. And when you look at that partnership for the Ministry of Water Resources with Kaduna State being number one in the production of soya beans, ginger, maize, tomatoes, you need the water and you need the right kind of channeling, not just from the dam, but through the habits, practices, and implementation of water strategy for developing the sector of agribusiness and all of its value chain. Kaduna State government is a government that does what it says and says what it intends to do. So whether it's growing a knowledge economy or creating sectors that work with AFTA to become the frontline state within a nation state, that is the thrust through of the message of Kaduna Kadivest 6.0. For this third goodwill, we invite someone who, as a president of Skipper Group and for Kaduna State, Jitendra Sakdeva, speaks as investor 001 and a reference of principal intervention. Please let's welcome Jitendra. You're welcome.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, Honorable Minister of Water Resources, distinguished members of the Assembly, National Assembly, House of Assembly, Honorable Speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. This is my 6th continuous year when I've been coming for this Kadivest Summit. And I've been watching the practical change. When I walk from one corner of the city to the another corner, the change itself shows that it's not only the economic discussions or decisions, but also the implementation which is happening and which is making the city on a real change. I was speaking to the MDs of Nestle and Olam a few days before, who are the major investors in the city, and I came to know that they have further plans because the confidence is there, because the ease of investment is there. I am fortunate to be the chairman of SKIPA. Which is a household name in power sector in Nigeria. SKIPA is a sizable investor in the power infrastructure in Nigeria, having its own manufacturing units, transformers, switch gears, control gears, solar equipment, and construction activities like EPC, and where we have a lot of construction equipment, etc. At the same time, SKIPA is aggressively investing into Kaduna State through an 84 megawatt power plant in Kudenda. This power plant is already under the implementation stage. Not only this, Kaduna is the first state in the whole of Nigeria which is paying for its own 132 kV transmission line, which is to be from Kudenda to Marabanjos, thus making a fail-safe power supply across the state. As Honorable Minister of Water Resources said, water, 20 megawatt Gurara power plant is there. So this gas power plant is coming because AKK is getting operation. At the same time, solar construction across whole of North, where NSGF, because of leadership, I can say at the end that Kaduna State is a committed state. I was hearing to the Kadipa chairperson saying that Kaduna State, what we say, what we do, we say. But here I can say whatever Kaduna State does, whatever Kaduna State says, they write the same thing, and it is implemented aggressively. 3 cheers to the governor of Kaduna and the management, the deputy governor and the leaders of Kadipa and all those parastatals who are driving the state. God bless Kaduna. Thank you.
Once again, let's just appreciate Mr. Jitendra Sakdeva, and he has spoken as a believer working with the pillars in the forefront of the dynamic, trailblazing action of the leadership of Kaduna State. What Kaduna State says it does, and what it does is simply the culmination of everything it has said. Looking at the fail-safe power supply by gas, by solar, it will see the light. Because of the leadership, there will be light in Kaduna State. The power of light is the power of vision. And when we look at the vision, it's a transgenerational vision with leadership that directs the hope and the aspirations. In Nigeria, we say everything unity. Their leaders and is doing under the leadership of Malam Nasir El-Rufai is working with youth and youth. Someone who is working with me today, and she handles the aftercare service at Kadivest 6.0. And I was very deliberate about requesting that I have someone work with me and talk with me, even as I carry on this privileged assignment hosting the Kadivest 6.0. Please help me welcome Hannah Bello. Today, as you listen to her voice, what you're actually listening to is a very deliberate intervention by the government of Kaduna and the leadership at Kadipa to give not just women, but the next generation leadership voices, come to the table, coordinate and collaborate. Hannah, welcome. Now, talk to us.
Good morning, everyone. All existing protocols duly observed. My name is Hannah Bello, and I'm just here to briefly talk about Kadivest 6.0 and the previous summits that have held. I welcome you once again to the 6th edition of the Kaduna Economic and Investment Summit, Kadivest 6.0. This summit is a platform for demonstrating that Kaduna is open for business. We in Kaduna believe that private investment is the best vehicle for job creation, as we are very eager to bring together private sector, international development partners, and development finance institutions to identify opportunities in the state.
All right. And now that she's given us that outline, giving a great speech, Hannah, what makes Kadipa and Kadivest 6.0 opportunity for you and the youth here? For you, what's your experience been?
I don't know about all of you, but if you've been to Kadipa, you definitely see a lot of young people, young minds, vibrant people. So I think the inclusion of youth and women, especially in Kadipa, is such an encouraging thing to see and to do. And I think we have come a long way from sitting back and letting elders do it. So personally, I think it's been really, really impactful on a personal note. In terms of Kadivest, it's also been an experience. The first one I attended was last year, 5.0. It was completely virtual. And it's just such a great platform to learn about the opportunities that lie here in Kaduna State.
Did you see what happened when she was given an opportunity to articulate without the paper? It's not about the paper. It's about the experiential contact. And that which translated becomes the voice, the message, and the messenger. Please celebrate. This is a picture of leadership, direction, and strategy for Kaduna going forward. And talking about the 5.0, which was about infrastructure, industrialization, and innovation, I heard your governor state earlier on this morning. He said, even though we were not able to get people to come, we were deliberate about making sure we went ahead with the Kadivest 5.0, and the most amazing thing happened. He said it was challenged. We still went ahead to keep Kaduna and Nigeria in the investor mindset. He said not only did you host it virtually, but you ended up with a valid numerical figure of investment by $500 million in spite of COVID. And it is because of that today at Kadivest 6.0 that we have the spotlight. The whole world globally, the whole nation, but most importantly, hosting any moment walking in now, His Excellency, the Vice President, as the chairman of the National Economic Summit, coming to Kaduna State. Why? He's coming here to what? Apart from engaging and giving us the voice of the presidency and of the nation and of economic change and simultaneous impact, all of that turnaround, is also here to commission a very significant project. Today on Sunrise TV, we had an interview with the GM of the markets development. What's his name again? Mr. Havins. Yes, exactly. And when we were talking, he was talking about the fact that the project, that market project, which is a very unique one, isn't just about an investment for people being relocated from what was the former traditional marketplace, but it's a statement by this government to bring a reconciliation of ethno-religious conflict into a place where everybody's being brought together. There were 2,500 plus market traders previously, and they built a facility that takes 3,500. They've made sure it is integrated, that no one feels marginalized, And I would really like to come the Bayero, Hafiz Bayero, thank you, the MD of Market Development and Management in Kaduna State for outstanding, not just remarks, but courage to go ahead with this project. Yes, 2,100. And what Kaduna State has done is not just that it's placing people in this new market. It has actually gone ahead beyond building the market to building the business models. They're actually registering for free all of these 2,100 for market traders on that location, formalizing their entire brand, their names, helping them to get names for what before was just a marketplace in that position with free corporate registration. I think we really should put our hands together for Kaduna State and appreciate Hafiz Bayero and his team. I also listened to Gerald and the chief information in Kaduna State. He represents even a local community of, and in speaking for information, innovation, and incubation, hubs, the South strategy. You know, the fact of the matter is, like you said, it's not about having a certificate. It's about the fact that we provide skill sets for the artisans of digital economy. And there they are. Right now, I believe His Excellency is coming in. Let's put our hands together. All right, not yet, not yet. It's almost in here. So it's all about a socioeconomic revolution through a very deliberate technology-driven education, and 5 state-owned tertiary universities are going to be the centers of directing this opportunity. There's also an ICT hub, and what is that called? An ICT hub that was built in collaboration with the Bank of Industry. So all of these very significant, very significant interventions for the 547 secondary schools. Right now, teachers and students are being retrained. So it's not just about putting computers into the schools. It's about putting a computer mindset, a digital mindset into their understanding. There we have it. Thank you very much. And celebrating once again all of the expression of Kaduna's forefront innovations and interventions. Muyiwa Adekeye, our Kaduna spokesman, couldn't have said it louder or clearer. You're raising a generation of socioeconomic renovators through state digital strategies. Kaduna State is actually blowing my mind right now, because I looked at the theme, work and workship, and someone with me said, well, what does workship mean? And I thought to myself, that's a very interesting word. Even for English language, work, we all understand. Workmanship, we all can translate easily. But workship means that you have translated your work into a place of almost total devotion, like worship, where the patriotic call is there. So, O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide Kaduna leaders right, and help Kaduna youth the truth to know and the digital economy to translate and transfer through their own connections into a whole new community. It's not just about flutter wave. Kaduna has waves to effect, impact, and create from Kaduna through the nation and across the African after repurposed continent of our nations and to the world. Kaduna to the world. Speak to the microphone.
Kaduna to the world.
And why?
Because we're the best.
Because we are the best. So yes, talking about being the best, let's celebrate that. Because they're the best. I actually had to ask Umar Aboki, who is our driver, our principal leader, and thrust when it comes to your superwoman. You know, I said, well, she is the leader of the team, and what she has groomed is a dream team. And I said to her, you say Kaduna is the learning center of Nigeria? And she said, yes, the largest number of learning centers anywhere in Nigeria is in Kaduna. Well, for me, I discovered I was an illiterate up until that moment. My literacy status has since been reformed, and I respectfully now concede to that. And now Kaduna is going right ahead courageously to say, we are going to become Nigeria and Africa's #1 knowledge-based economy. It begins with a very audacious, ambitious aspiration, such as we have heard and such as it is. Honorable Stella Oketete, am I seeing? Okay then. Will the next same statement also makes it very clear that that is the direction, with perhaps looking at the currency that takes out the dollarization exchange and brings us, His Highness, am I speaking? Just makes it Africa to Africa. Royal Highness, I'm seeing you do this. But I know that those hands, when you come up to speak, will release to us the grace of transactional power. Okay, I understand. I will keep my own mouth sealed. But I know that from Afrexim to every other thing, sir, we hear you and we will reverb what we hear without you speaking loud and clear. However, today, once again, acknowledging all of the very eminent and distinguished gathering of this convergence here today. Thank you. We will take a documentary while we wait. Please continue to engage, be expectant. This is Kadivest 6.0, and who knows, you could very well be the next investor bringing about the next change in our national economy. Thank you.
Renewal project in the history of Kaduna State, beginning with Kaduna Metropolis.
So, like I said, we would be watching renewal documentary, see the amazing things that have been happening in Kaduna. I'm sure if you go around Kaduna, some of us get lost. Been lost a lot of times and have kudos to the government. And then after that, public college with television.
This is NBN Network Media News. for Oasis.